magically drawn to certain women while others remain invisible to them. The secret isn't just physical appearance, there's something much deeper, something renowned psychologist Carl Jung uncovered in his studies of the male unconscious. Today I'm going to reveal what no other woman has dared to share, the 6 psychological triggers that awaken uncontrollable sexual desire in a man. This knowledge has been kept secret for decades, considered too dangerous to share openly. And imagine being able to awaken such an intense attraction in the man you desire that he can't think about anything but you. No manipulative games, no empty seduction tactics, just the power of genuine connection with the deepest layers of the male psyche. One of my clients, Mariana, had been divorced for 5 years and had given up on finding love again. At 47, she believed her time to spark desire in a man had passed. After applying just 2 of the 6 secrets I'll reveal today, not only did she recapture the attention of the man she wanted, but she awakened in him a devotion she never imagined possible. What I'm about to share with you goes far beyond the superficial techniques of seduction you may have already tried. This isn't about lingerie, expensive perfumes, or rehearsed conversation tricks. Men are creatures driven by symbols and archetypes that reside in their collective unconscious, concepts that Jung spent decades studying. When you understand and awaken these archetypes, you don't just attract a man, you become the embodiment of what he has been unconsciously seeking all along. These secrets were uncovered in Jung's personal journals, only recently translated and made available to a select group of researchers. What we found there completely changed our understanding of male sexuality, but I must warn you, this knowledge comes with responsibility. When you understand how to activate these triggers in a man's unconscious, you hold in your hands a power few women ever possess, a power that, when used wisely, can transform not only your relationship, but the entire dynamic between you and the man you desire. The question remains, are you ready to go beyond the limitations that have kept you stuck in superficial relationships? Or worse, in loneliness? Are you willing to dive into the depths of the male psyche and awaken a desire he didn't even know existed within him? If the answer is yes, keep watching. The next few minutes could forever change the way men respond to you. This is the knowledge for which Jung was criticized, the knowledge he considered too powerful to share indiscriminately. The first secret that intensely activates a man's sexual desire is rooted in what Jung called the connection with the shadow. The shadow, in Jungian terms, represents the parts of ourselves that we hide, repress, or deny. And here's the surprising revelation. When you become a safe mirror for a man's hidden parts, you awaken in him a nearly mystical desire. Have you ever noticed how some men are drawn to women who make them feel deeply understood, even in ways they can't explain themselves? It's no coincidence. It's the manifestation of this first forbidden secret. From childhood, men are conditioned to repress their emotions, vulnerabilities, and insecurities. They carry an invisible burden. The need to always appear strong, unshakable, confident. This mask that society forces them to wear creates constant pressure, a deep disconnection from essential parts of themselves. When you become the sanctuary where he can take off that mask, even briefly, even subtly, you activate one of the most powerful desire triggers. It's not about turning him into a fragile being or becoming his therapist. It's about creating a sacred space where he can simply be, without judgment, without expectation. The way to activate this trigger is through full presence. When you are truly present with a man, listening not just to his words but to what's behind them, observing not just his actions but the intentions that drive them, you begin to see his shadow. And when you acknowledge that shadow without trying to fix it, without fear, without judgment, you awaken in him a deep gratitude that quickly transforms into desire. The second forbidden secret revealed by Jung is what he called the dance with the anima. Every man carries within him an internal image of the feminine, the anima, which profoundly influences his attraction and relationships. This image is not merely a physical ideal, but a constellation of energetic, emotional, and spiritual qualities. What's fascinating about the anima is that it isn't static. It evolves throughout a man's life, shaped by his experiences, relationships, and inner growth. What few people know is that you can consciously attune yourself to this inner image, and by doing so, awaken a level of attraction that transcends the purely physical. When you embody aspects of a man's anima, you are not being false or manipulative. You are creating a bridge between your authentic self and the parts of him that long for expression through connection with the feminine. It's a sacred dance between polarities. A practical example: observe closely how he responds to different aspects of your femininity. There are moments when your nurturing nature visibly soothes him, or he seems more alive when you express your spontaneity and free spirit. Maybe it's your strength and independence that magnetize him, or your softness and receptivity. These are clues revealing the nature of his anima. By recognizing these patterns and allowing these aspects of your own femininity to naturally flourish when you're together, you create a powerful resonance with his inner world. One of my clients, Christina, age 53, discovered that the man she loved responded deeply when she expressed her intuitive and mysterious side. Instead of trying to impress him with logic and practicality, she allowed her deeper nature, her connection to intuition and mystery, to emerge. The result was a complete transformation in their dynamic. The third secret Jung revealed in his most intimate journals is what he called the alchemy of contrast. This is perhaps the most surprising of the male desire triggers and contradicts much of what we've been taught about attraction. The male psyche is naturally drawn not to uniformity, but to dynamic contrast. A man does not seek a partner who is consistently sweet, or consistently strong, or consistently anything. What awakens his deepest desire is the woman who contains multitudes, who can be gentle and fierce, vulnerable and powerful, grounded and mysterious. This principle of the alchemy of contrast explains why relationships that start with intense passion often lose their spark over time. When we present ourselves in a one-dimensional way, or when we fall into predictability, we lose the element of contrast that keeps male desire alive. Jung discovered that the male psyche responds with intense desire when it experiences what he called the union of opposites in a woman. It's the ability to be maternal in one moment and passionately sensual in another, to be deeply spiritual and shamelessly earthly, to be independent and confident, yet also open to receiving and being cared for. Think of this as a dance between different aspects of your being. It's not about being inconsistent or inauthentic. It's about honoring the natural complexity that exists within you. When you allow the different facets of your personality to express themselves freely, you create a magnetic field of mystery and ongoing discovery that keeps male desire alive. Eleanor, a 42-year-old client of mine, applied this principle to her 15-year marriage, which had fallen into routine. She realized she had become one-dimensional, always the practical, organized, predictable wife. By reconnecting with other dimensions of herself, her sensuality, her spirituality, her adventurous spirit, she reintroduced the element of contrast into the relationship. Her husband, who had seemed distant for years, began looking at her with the eyes of a man rediscovering his partner. These first three secrets already form a powerful foundation for transforming the way a man responds to you. But now we arrive at the point where Jung was most daring in his discoveries, where he revealed the deepest and most transformative aspects of the male psyche. What we're about to uncover is the reason why some men remain obsessed with certain women for decades, while they can barely remember the names of others. It's the reason why some relationships seem to transcend time and circumstance, creating a bond that not even the greatest challenges can break. We now arrive at Jung's fourth forbidden secret, perhaps the most powerful and least understood of all: resonance with the inner hero. Jung discovered that every man, regardless of age or circumstance, carries within him the archetype of the hero, a primal force that longs for expression, recognition, and purpose. This inner hero is not merely ego or masculine vanity. It is a deep archetypal force that drives a man to seek meaning, overcome challenges, and leave an impact. And here's the surprising revelation: When a woman is able to see, honor, and create space for this inner hero to emerge, she activates one of the most potent sexual desire triggers in a man. Understand, this is not about pretending to be fragile to make him feel strong, nor about diminishing yourself to lift him up. That's a distorted and superficial take on this profound principle. True resonance with a man's inner hero happens when you genuinely recognize his specific heroic qualities, his integrity, determination, vision, his ability to protect or provide, or any other unique expression of his essence. When you reflect those heroic qualities back to him, not through flattery, but through true appreciation, you become a mirror in which he can finally see his highest potential. This recognition awakens in him not just gratitude, but a deep desire to become even more for you, to be worthy of your gaze, to rise to the version of himself that you see. Tiana, a 58-year-old client, applied this principle in her long-term relationship. Instead of focusing on her partner's flaws, as she had done for years, she began to truly observe and acknowledge his heroic traits, his resilience in facing professional setbacks, his unwavering loyalty to family, his constant pursuit of self-improvement. The result was almost immediate. The man who had seemed apathetic and distant came alive again with new energy, new passion, and renewed desire for her. This trigger is so powerful that Jung himself warned about its use. When a man feels he has found the woman who truly sees and honors his inner hero, he forms a bond that transcends physical attraction or even conventional romantic love. It becomes a soul connection, a resonance he has rarely, if ever, experienced before. The fifth secret revealed in Jung's forbidden writings is what he called the portal to the transcendent. Jung discovered that male sexuality, in its deepest essence, is not merely seeking physical pleasure or release. There is a spiritual dimension to male sexual desire that few women truly understand. For a man, the sexual encounter with a woman who embodies this fifth principle becomes a portal to an experience that transcends the ordinary, an experience that momentarily connects him with something greater than himself. It becomes a dissolving of boundaries, a union not just of bodies but of energies, of essences. This transcendent aspect of male sexuality explains why certain sexual experiences stay etched in a man's memory for decades, while others fade quickly. It's not about technique or physical appearance. It's about the presence of a woman who understands and embodies this sacred dimension of sexual union. How can you awaken this deeply spiritual trigger? The key lies in your own connection to the transcendent, to the sacred feminine that lives within you. When you reconnect with the ancestral wisdom of your body, when you fully inhabit your sensuality as a sacred expression of your feminine essence, you naturally become this portal. In practice, this means letting go of performativity during intimacy. It means being truly present, connected to your sensations, to your breath, to the flow of energy within your body. It means allowing yourself to experience pleasure, not as something to be achieved or performed, but as a natural expression of your life force. When you approach sexuality from this expanded awareness, you awaken in a man a response that goes far beyond the physical. You activate within him ancestral memories of a sacred union between the masculine and the feminine. This is the experience he will seek again and again, the one that keeps him magnetically drawn to you. Clara at 49 discovered this principle after years of unfulfilling relationships. By reconnecting with her sacred nature, with the wisdom and power of her feminine body, she completely transformed her experience of intimacy. The man she had just started seeing confessed that he had never felt such a deep, transformative connection with any other woman before. We now arrive at the sixth and final forbidden secret, the one Jung considered the most powerful and also the most dangerous, the mirror of wholeness. This principle transcends all the previous ones and integrates them into a revolutionary understanding of the male psyche. Jung discovered that a man's deepest and most enduring sexual desire is awakened by the woman who becomes, for him, the mirror of his totality, who reflects not just parts of him, but his entire being, including what he has yet to recognize within himself. This mirror of wholeness is created when you develop the ability to see beyond a man's surface layers, beyond his words and actions, into his deepest essence. When you are able to recognize and honor both his light and his shadow, his strength and his vulnerability, his present self and his unrealized potential, the ability to mirror a man's wholeness is not a technique you can learn overnight. It is the result of deep inner work, of a journey into self-awareness and the integration of your own shadows and light. Because you can only recognize in another what you have already recognized in yourself. When you become this mirror of wholeness, you offer a man an experience of completion, of integration, of belonging that he may have never felt before. You become for him not just a partner, but a path to his own healing and evolution. This is the most powerful trigger of all because it transcends sexual desire and transforms it into a longing for self-realization through union with you. It is a bond that does not break easily because it is rooted in the deepest layers of the psyche. Isabella, a 61-year-old client, embodied this principle in her new relationship after a painful divorce. By doing her own shadow work, she developed the ability to see and honor her new partner in his totality. The result was a connection so profound that he often said he felt truly seen for the first time in his life. Their sexual desire, even after 3 years together, remained intense and continually renewed. These 6 forbidden secrets of Jung form a map for awakening and sustaining a man's sexual desire, not through manipulation or surface-level tactics, but through a deep understanding of the male psyche and an authentic connection that honors both your feminine essence and his totality. Now that you know Jung's 6 forbidden secrets to activate a man's sexual desire, it's essential to understand how to integrate this knowledge into your life in a practical and transformative way. Even more importantly, you must grasp the profound impact this ancestral wisdom can have, not just on your relationships, but on your entire existence as a woman. The first step to integrating these secrets is to recognize that they are not isolated techniques, but interconnected parts of a holistic approach to femininity and relationships. When you work with the connection to the shadow, for example, you're not just activating a man's desire. You are simultaneously creating a space of authenticity that benefits both of you. Here's a truth I must share with you. Implementing these Jungian principles requires courage. Courage to dive into your own depths before trying to understand his. Courage to break away from dysfunctional patterns that may have become familiar. Courage to allow yourself to be seen in your vulnerability and in your power. What I've observed with my clients over the years is that the greatest transformation doesn't happen in their relationships with men, it happens in their relationship with themselves. By understanding and working with these Jungian principles, they develop a deeper connection with their own feminine essence, with their innate wisdom, and with their personal power. Renata, at 55, came to me hoping to win back her ex-husband. By working with these principles, especially the dance with the anima and the alchemy of contrast, she not only rekindled his interest but discovered a version of herself that had been dormant for decades. For the first time, she told me, "I feel like I'm living from my center, not to please or to keep a relationship, but because I've finally reconnected with who I truly am." This is the deepest outcome of this work, the rediscovery of your own wholeness as a woman. And it is precisely this reconnection with your essence that creates the magnetic field that attracts a man, not temporarily but in a lasting and meaningful way. A question that often arises when I share these secrets is, but isn't this manipulation? The answer is a clear and definitive no. Manipulation involves dishonesty, control, and a power imbalance. What Jung uncovered are principles of authentic connection, grounded in a deep understanding of the human psyche and in honoring both the feminine and the masculine. When you work with the resonance with the inner hero, for example, you're not faking admiration to manipulate a man. You're developing the ability to truly see and appreciate the heroic qualities that exist within him. It's an exercise in expanded perception, not control. Likewise, when you embody the portal to the transcendent, You're not using sexual techniques to create dependency. You're reconnecting with the sacred dimension of your own sexuality, and by doing so, creating a space where both of you can experience a deeper and more meaningful connection. Integrating these principles into your life is a process, not a one-time event. It begins with self-awareness, observing how you've shown up in your relationships, which aspects of your femininity you've expressed freely and which you've repressed. What patterns have repeated in your interactions with men? The second step is self-acceptance. Embracing all dimensions of your feminine being without judgment, recognizing that both your vulnerability and your strength, your receptivity and your assertiveness are valid and powerful expressions of who you are. The third step is conscious practice, beginning to incorporate these principles into your daily interactions, noticing the responses you receive, adjusting your approach, not to manipulate, but to create more authentic and meaningful connections. One of my clients, Patricia, age 38, kept a journal in which she recorded her observations about how different aspects of her feminine expression affected not only the man she was relating to, but her interactions in general. This simple act of conscious awareness allowed her to identify and release patterns that had sabotaged her relationships in the past. The truth that few women fully understand is this: the ability to awaken and sustain a man's sexual desire is merely the surface-level expression of a far deeper feminine power. The power to create connection, meaning, and transformation through your presence. When you integrate Jung's 6 forbidden secrets into your life, you're not just becoming more attractive to men, you're awakening dormant aspects of your own psyche, reconnecting with ancestral lineages of feminine wisdom, reclaiming a power that is yours by birthright. The consequences of this awakening extend far beyond the realm of romantic relationships. My clients frequently report transformations in all areas of their lives: greater clarity of purpose, increased creative energy, improved family relationships, and even enhanced material prosperity. It's as if by reconnecting with these deep dimensions of their feminine nature, they open channels for life's abundance to flow more freely in all its expressions. This is the true gift of Jung's forbidden teachings, not merely the ability to awaken desire in a man, but the rediscovery of an integrated, powerful, and transformative femininity that positively impacts every aspect of your existence. Now, an important warning: like all powerful knowledge, these principles carry responsibility. When working with such profound aspects of the male psyche, you will inevitably touch wounds, fears, and desires that may have long lain dormant. It's essential to approach this work with compassion for both yourself and the man you're engaging with. Understand that awakening deeper dimensions of connection also means creating space for vulnerabilities and insecurities to surface, both yours and his. Often, a man experiencing this kind of deep connection for the first time may feel simultaneously drawn and frightened. His initial response may be to pull away or show ambivalence before fully surrendering to this new experience of intimacy. Patience and compassion are essential in these moments. You are guiding both him and yourself through unfamiliar territories of the psyche, through chambers of the heart that may have been closed for decades. What my clients inevitably discover is that this journey, though challenging at times, leads to a kind of relationship that few ever experience in their lives. A connection rooted in the deepest layers of being, fueled by a desire that does not fade with time, but rather deepens and transforms. This is the legacy of Jung's forbidden secrets, not just techniques to spark desire, but a map to soul-nourishing relationships that catalyze growth and bring forth the best in both the feminine and the masculine. And now, the choice is yours. You can continue as before, navigating relationships with limited tools and surface-level understanding, or you can embark on this journey of rediscovering your feminine power, consciously activating these deep triggers in the man you desire, and creating a relationship that transcends the ordinary. The knowledge has been shared, the portal has been opened, the path to a transformative experience of love and sexuality lies before you. The only question that remains is, will you take the first step? If this video stirred something within you, if you felt a resonance with these ancestral secrets, Share it now with other women who deserve to rediscover their feminine power. This knowledge has been kept in the shadows for far too long. It's time to break the silence and create a community of awakened and empowered women. Click the share button and spread this wisdom. Every woman who awakens to her full power sends out ripples of transformation that benefit not only herself, but